I was a paper boy, and every morning I would get up and, get my papers at 3 o'clock, bag my papers up, bag my work up, my work being cocaine. When I first started selling drugs, I probably was 12 years old.
I worked 30 years as a police officer for the city of Racine. During the 80s and 90s, it was a rough time.
This is the park. This is 18th and Meade. It was like a drive-through at a major food franchise right here. Just, dope fiends, clientele coming through here, periodically. Guys would come through and do drive-bys. That was just like, it was a way of life. I was always nervous. I was always scared, just waking up and, always looking over your shoulder, thinking about being shot at or seeing everyone in my inner circle die.
The drug world was just, it was different, it was very dark, everybody's out for themselves.
So many boys was getting murdered, I didn't want that to happen to him.
Caron had a tough go of it to start out with. I think he was arrested at least 15 times by the time he was 15.
It's funny, now I've been all over the world, but I couldn't see past this block right here. I didn't see a guy dressing nice, of my color, doing great things. I never was exposed to that. That's all I knew. And, it was just, looking back at it, I was a lost kid. Being incarcerated and going to solitary confinement was the moment where I was broken. Dear Mom, the day that you didn't come to visit me, I was in the hole for arguing with another resident. I was crying and dropping tears and writing letters, very, very emotional letters to my family, just telling them what I wanted to become one day. I'd be in our cells for 23 hours a day, thinking and talking, and looking out the window. Everything changed, like my whole thought process started beginning to change because I was isolated from population and I was just more to myself. And I learned that I gotta have a will, I gotta be dedicated to what I wanna do to be better. I'm blessed with my family and happy that things happened the way that they did so I can realize what I was losing. And when I got out, I just, was trying to just do any and everything that I possibly can to, to be on the right path.
When he did get out, he worked, he got a job at Burger King.
My friends was still doing the things that they was doing, and once I got out, I didn't go back in it. I had different plans, and they clowned me. They came to Burger King and laughed at me working and in the uniform and everything, but, I just stayed with it.
And so I knew then that he wasn't gonna get in trouble anymore because he learned his lesson.
On January 22nd, I drafted a search warrant for Caron's home at the time.
I heard the boom, boom, and I looked out at the window and I saw that it was attack force members everywhere. I think I was a year and a half removed from anything negative. I was doing nothing but good, and I just covered myself up because I knew they was coming upstairs, and they came up, threw the cover off of me, and handcuffed me.
And I basically said the word is that there is dope that's coming out of this house, and I think his response at the time was, I am not messing with dope right now. The rest of my team started searching, and at one point in the garage, we located 15.3 grams of crack cocaine.
They did find narcotics in the garage. Was not mine. I know what usually happened in situations like that. I had an uncle that went down for a situation that he wasn't responsible for. So I was worried. I really was, to say the least.
If Caron would have been charged that night, he would have been looking at, I think, a minimum of 10 years in prison. Anytime we execute a search warrant, we take photographs of all of the individuals inside of a house. I could tell he was just in disbelief that all of this was happening. I had a conversation with my immediate supervisor who said, "You've got enough, charge him." And I said to my lieutenant, "I don't believe this kid had any idea that this dope was here, and I think to charge him would be a huge mistake." And the lieutenant's response was, "If you think it would be a huge mistake, then we don't do it."
They came back and he just uncuffed me. He said, "I hope I'm not making a mistake." That was it. And he said, "I'm the officer that made it possible for you and your family to be okay." And I was like, "Man, I ain't never met you." And he told me the story behind of it. And, he had a decision to make that could have changed the whole landscape of everything right now. So I'm extremely grateful to him for that.
Well, after that day, we communicated on a regular basis.
During the course of the season, if I'm playing good or if I'm having bad moments, he's always texting, calling. He's always watching over me, I know that.
16 years ago, you had a very, very scared kid. 16 years later, you have a star in the NBA, and off the court, just never forgot where he came from as far as doing for people less fortunate. I mean, the good that has come out of one small decision that I made is just, there's times where I can't even fathom it.
My agent asked me, "How would you like to be finishing your career where it all started, pretty much?" And I said, "That would be special."
My son got a hold of me and said, "There is talk that Caron could be coming to Milwaukee." And I thought he was kidding me at first, because it's a running joke that my idea of an early Christmas would be Caron Butler playing for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Good afternoon. Boy, it's great to be here. We're so excited to have Caron Butler join our team and our organization.
I've been through a lot of adversity throughout my life. I've been a kid and a young man that always been told what I couldn't accomplish. I always wanted to prove other people wrong and be a good example for, the kids that watch me, my children, children in my family, because the examples that I had and the role models that I had was people that was running the streets doing different things. And, it's real rewarding and it's real, self-gratifying to see people say, "I look up to you. Because you did that, I feel like I can do this." So that's special to me and that means a lot. I couldn't, look those people in the face and be a failure. So I just, kept striving and kept moving forward and made something of myself. This is a dream come true. And I never thought it would happen, so it's special. So thank you.